Good evening, I'm George Herbig, Chief Forecaster here with Weather Now, Kentucky. We do an update for you regarding the winter storm potential for Sunday and Monday. Of course, before we dive into all the information on what to expect, if you would not mind, tap the share button at the bottom portion of your screen that shares this video onto your news feed so that way your friends and family can view it. Also helps us out a little bit as well. So thank you guys for liking and sharing the broadcast. We are live on both YouTube and Facebook tonight. So if you don't feel like holding your phone on Facebook, you can put us up on your smart TV on the YouTube side of things and get the job done there. Again, the shares are going to be absolutely crucial. We want to make sure everyone's getting accurate and real information, not the stuff that's being spread all over social media the last 48 hours. So if you would not mind, help us with correcting some of the misinformation out there by sharing the broadcast. Let us talk to your friends and family and get them updated on what to actually expect. Carolyn, Amanda, Shadana, Ashley, Teresa, thank you all for sharing the broadcast on Facebook. Ashley Dye, thank you for sharing it as well. Appreciate your guys' help with that. I already see 40 shares. You guys are doing your job. I appreciate you a lot. Of course, make sure you guys are saying hello as you come in so I can greet you. As always, we're going to give it about 60 seconds before we start on the information. Sometimes notifications go out slower or faster depending upon your connection to the server. So we want to make sure everyone gets a nice brief moment to get in here and get settled in. Also, completely forgot to turn my GPU fans on, so I might want to do that before my computer blows up. I'm just kidding, it wouldn't actually blow up, but it wouldn't be fun. So, turn this up real quickly. Bada bing, bada boom. There we go. Again, make sure you're saying hello as you come in. Our mods will greet you. We will greet you. Again, if you are just now tuning in, by the way, as well, you have not missed anything. We have not started on the information yet. Again, we're giving everyone 30 to 40 seconds. Thank you guys for all the shares on the broadcast. We're already up to 71 shares on the broadcast. Thank you for helping us with actually spreading correct information, not just the... I even saw old forecasts from like 2016 being copied and pasted and shared. So we got to really work hard with sharing the actual information, not some of this stuff with what's going on. I have seen all kinds of things. I even saw a forecast from like 1998, and I'm like, what in the world am I looking at? So our whole goal tonight, again, we're not going to know everything 100% verbatim, but our whole goal tonight is to set the accurate expectations. We do have winter storm watches that did go out a couple of hours ago, so we'll share with you where those are at. We actually have some new ones that are being issued now as well. I do expect more to be issued throughout the next 24 hours, and then, of course, as the storm approaches a little bit closer on Sunday morning, we'll probably see a lot of those converted to winter storm warnings or even ice storm warnings, unfortunately. So, that said, thank you guys again for all the shares. I see all of you guys: Dustin, Tanya, Tom, Jessica, Trina, Dylan, my friend Dylan Stapp, Judy, Kelly, Shannon, Shelly, Ashley, so on and so forth. Thank you guys for all the shares on the broadcast. We appreciate you. I'm going to flip over to the main screen now. Let's go ahead and get started on the information. Once again, if you are just now tuning in, I'm George Herbig, Chief Forecaster here with Weather Now, Kentucky. In case you live under a rock, there is a winter storm approaching for Sunday into Monday. Confidence is rapidly growing in that winter storm. There are some variables at play that we will not know probably until tomorrow night, early Saturday morning, because that's when the storm actually makes a landfall. However, model data has been incredibly consistent on most things with this storm. For example, the crucial code that we're going to see afterward that's going to play into things. Some of the wind gusts that we're looking at now, those are going to play into perhaps some power outages that we're talking about. So let's dive into all information here. Let's start here with the general outlook here. So on your screen right now, we have our watches and warnings up via the WeatherWise radar. If you do not have WeatherWise radar installed, please do yourself a favor and install it. It is the best radar on the market right now. And the best part about it is completely free. And another good part, they're partnered with us at WNK, so they support us. So, thank you guys a lot for downloading that. Hopefully, if you have any questions on how to operate it, we can answer that for you. So here is the WeatherWise radar here. Again, it's showing us where all the watches and even some special weather statements showing up for perhaps some slick spots tonight. So on eastern Kentucky, where this very light blue is, teal almost, if you will. Again, you guys yell at me all the time about the color wheels. I'm not very keen on specific colors, okay? Special weather statement does exist for eastern Kentucky. They're going one step at a time out there for NWS Jackson, which I can't blame them. So there is the potential for some brief slick spots overnight tonight going into Friday morning if you're out here in this teal area where some nice little flurries or maybe even a snow burst or two may hit overnight tonight into Friday morning. That is our cold front trying to move its way in. Garrett, thank you for the 100 stars. I appreciate your kindness. Thank you so much, man. So getting back to the data here, in central Kentucky, where you see this dark blue, winter storm watch is up. And for places like E-Town and Barstown, you are under a winter storm watch and a special weather statement. So winter storm watch is for of course, the big storm on Sunday, Monday. Special weather statement, once again, is for any brief slick spots that may pop up late tonight into the overnight hours going into Friday morning. Now, when it comes to, let me pull out the drawing tool here. Where's my, where's my pin at? See, guys, this is why, this is your all's job to make sure I have my pin up. I'm just playing around. But I built my pin up real quickly. There we go. I only really expect slick spots, let's say, in this area. All right. And even then, there's not going to be very many. So the overnight little baby system, little teaser, I guess, if you will, that we're going to have tonight going into Friday morning. Not expecting a whole lot from it. Maybe some brief slick spots along 64 in the eastern portions of Kentucky. Maybe down toward London and Irvine and Pikeville as well. Outside of this, even where there is a special weather statement technically right here, I don't expect a whole lot in that area in terms of any activity. Anything that happens overnight tonight going into Friday seems pretty minimal at best. So I'm not really expecting a whole lot in terms of tonight going into the overnight hours. But that said, as you can see on your screen here, let me pull my pen back out once again. There is a special weather statement, or I'm sorry, winter storm watch out for basically this area and then on north. They have not put any out eastern Kentucky, but if you can use your imagination here with me, extend this line all the way out to eastern Kentucky. That's where your current watches and warnings would be. And then all the way up into Indiana, Illinois, Missouri, I mean everywhere. And this is a massive storm heading our way. Once again, if you are just now tuning in here, you have not missed a thing. We're just now kind of starting to go into things. So again, I want to say real quickly, thank you all the likes and shares on the broadcast, both on YouTube and Facebook tonight. Thank you guys a lot for your support there. One thing, or another thing I want to note on before we go into the actual model data, I am going to show you model data, by the way. But one more thing I want to note on real quickly, make sure you can see it. Yes, you can. Here are the updated hazardous weather warning and advisory criteria. Not a lot of people know this, but the National Weather Service in Louisville and some other places have changed a little bit of the criteria or names of which they may issue these. So, for example, there is now an extreme cold warning where there used to be, I forget what it was called, wind chill warning or something. I'm not sure what exactly it was called. It's been so long since we've even had to deal with one. But extreme cold warning is for an apparent temperature less than or equal to -10 degrees in south central Kentucky and -15 degrees in the rest of the watch or advisory level or watch or advisory area. We may need an extreme cold warning for some places, especially Tuesday morning to Wednesday morning. So you might see your first ever extreme cold warning in Kentucky. Because once again, this is a new warning for the Kentucky area. At the least, we will see a cold weather advisory, which you see at the bottom portion of your screen there. We do already have winter storm watches out from the National Weather Service in Louisville. And I do expect that we'll see winter storm, or those converted to winter storm warnings as we get closer. And I do expect that we will also see ice storm warnings. Once again, I want to kind of point out, ice storm warning is for anything that is greater than or equal to a 1/4 inch. That is a hazard to life and property. So, again, I do think we'll see a few of those. We'll mainly see winter storm warnings. So winter storm warnings can be for multiple things. A lot of people think it's just for the snow. But the winter storm warnings can be for snow averaging greater than or equal to 4 inches. And that can also include some sleet in that as well. Or a significant combination of snow, sleet, and freezing rain. Think about the impact that may make. So, I do think we'll see mainly winter storm warnings for this. Again, the impact from the combination of the freezing rain and snow will be the headlines, and then the cold afterward will probably dominate the headlines, and we'll probably forget that this even happened. So, just wanted to point that out there because some things have changed, and not a lot of people know that the winter storm warning can cover more than just snow. So what I want to show you here are a couple of different models, all right? Now, I want to point out that before we get into this, I'm going to kind of show you it right here on your screen. Let me go and click this button here, and then we'll click this button. I want to kind of show you. So here is our storm. If you look on the very far left portion of your screen, that is when it finally comes on land, which is 30 hours from now. So, well, give or take a little bit. It's probably a little bit faster than this, so probably more like 24 hours, okay? So the reason I want to point that out is when this storm actually does get on land, the National Weather Service can throw weather balloons up into the storm and get real-time information. That real-time information is then inputted to these models, and these models can tend to be more accurate after the storm has made landfall. So I want to point out that what we show you tonight may indeed change by the time we get to Sunday and Monday. And matter of fact, in my opinion, it probably will. Because some of the things the models are showing us aren't quite making sense comparing this system to what we've seen in the past. So again, everything I'm going to show you tonight is kind of not speculation, but a really good hypothesis. Whereas, you know, the live broadcast we may do late tomorrow night or early Saturday, I haven't made up my mind on that just yet. That is more going to have real information with it, real data in it, and even then we could change some things. I mean, for example, last year we had a potential for a big snowfall in I believe it was early February or late January of 2023, and of 2024. I'm sorry. And it actually shifted all the way from Indianapolis to Nashville, which is a span of about 300 miles, all because the models were going off of a best guess, and then we got to actually sample it, and then it shifted so unbelievably far. So what was the radar name again? It's called WeatherWise. WeatherWise, you can actually get it from weatherwise.app. That's the actual website to download the WeatherWise radar, or you can search for it in your app store. So, going back over here, I'll get to all your star donations here in a second. Thank you guys for all the star donations. I appreciate your all's kindness. For those of you that don't know, stars are a way that you can monetarily donate to us and give to our team. So, again, just want to point out, the storm hasn't made landfall yet. However, it will be probably making landfall tomorrow night, and at that point, you'll probably see a very fast uptick in posts and videos from us. We've kind of been holding off a little bit because we know how we've seen this story before. We've seen major shifting before last minute. Now, do I expect major shifting? Not really, because the consistency in the model data has been there. And most of what it's saying is making sense. There's just little details, and I'll point those out as we head on forward here. So, pushing this on forward, this is valid for Sunday at about midnight right here. Low pressure finally gets its way going. You can see that storm has made it all the way from the Pacific Ocean to the Texas and Oklahoma area in a span of about 12 hours. So this thing is absolutely hauling you know what. So it's going to be critical for us to get the information out to you as quickly as possible. So making sure that you have our notifications turned on both Facebook and YouTube and Twitter. That's a big player. But look how big the storm is. I mean, this thing just started. If I go back a few clicks, right? Let's say we go back about 12 hours. I mean, we got a little snowfall up there. They always have snowfall in the north. That's not a surprise. But look at the width of this storm. I mean, it is a big boy storm that also makes this very complex. The bigger the storm, the more complex, the more moving parts, the tougher it gets to analyze. Don't worry, I will zoom into the regional and local view so you can see your nameplates. I just kind of wanted to show you the general overall look. So by about Sunday at about 10 a.m., it's a full-on snow and freezing rainstorm in Kentucky. This is why you can see the concern for the winter storm warnings. And this is why you can see that the concern is quite high for impacts to travel and even infrastructure in our state. As we push this on forward, we're going to have a battle, if you will, okay? We're going to have a battle, if you will. We're going to be having the Gulf of Mexico, the warm air, the moist air coming out of that ocean, that's going to be fighting the polar air that's coming out of the Canadian area. Who's going to win that battle? Well, I think at different times throughout the day, we're going to see different winners of that battle. You can see here, this would be the peak time frame. So this is Sunday at about 4 to 5 p.m. This is when we would usually be peak heating, right? And we see an onslaught at this point of freezing rain and snow and sleet in Kentucky. So I want to push this on into the regional view here so you can kind of see for yourself with a little bit of a better clearance. I'm going to point out some key places in Kentucky so you can kind of get some context as to where you may be. For example, out here where my cursor is now, this is Paducah. This is going to be Bowling Green right here where my cursor is now. This is going to be Lexington over here where my cursor is now. Pikeville's all the way over here on the right corner. Louisville's up here where my cursor is now. Hardin County, Elizabethtown will be right here where my cursor is now. And then Henderson is going to be where my cursor is now. So that should give you some context if you know you're close to one of those cities as to where you may be. Let's go ahead and click onto the model here and see what we're looking at. So, I'm going to skip this on forward to Sunday. You'll see it get started. This is the problem. So, when this thing gets started, it will most likely start as a frozen precip. We're going to have cold air in place, as you guys already feel outside now. If you walk outside, it is cold. It's not nearly as cold as it's going to be next week, but it's cold. So, we already have cold air in place. So, whatever starts, it's likely going to be frozen precip, whether it's snow, rain, sleet, whatever it might be at that point. All right? The problem with this, and I did see some brine on the roads here in Radcliffe, the brine's going to be washed right off. So anyone that's putting brine down, in my opinion right now, is likely just wasting your time, wasting your manpower, or wasting your resources. Because the brine's going to be washed right off, because as soon as we get that warm nose to come in during the afternoon hours, look at what happens in Kentucky. Almost everyone in the state is now under a freezing rain or regular rain at this point. So brine is not going to be effective, and you're likely wasting your labor hours, your man hours, and you're going to need those folks rested by the time Sunday, Monday actually comes. So advance this on forward, and you'll see that at this point, this is going to be Sunday afternoon during the peak heat of Sunday afternoon. A full-on ice storm is going on at this point in the confines of Kentucky. Some snow, very heavy snow ongoing at very far northeastern portion of the state. Regular rain is going on south of the parkways, and that will be the case. And I'll show you a little bit more about that, where I think the best idea for zones are set up. So this is Sunday, late on Sunday, around 8 p.m. or so. So here, the storm has been going on for about 12 hours at this point. So the storm has been going on for about 12 hours at this point. We still have a full-on freezing rain signal. By the way, the pink, for those of you that may not know, the pink is the freezing rain. Purple is sleet. Those blues and even the hot pinks, maybe, if you want to call it that you're seeing are very, very heavy snowfall. Of course, regular green and yellow is regular rain. So that's kind of the context on that. But here we are at about 12 to 15 hours in, right? And we're still seeing a full-on freezing rain ongoing from the parkways to the north. All right, advancing this on forward, you'll see that the Euro model does start to ease up as this low pressure gets into Kentucky. Very close to that low pressure, you'll see a gap in precipitation, a bit of a dry slot, if you will. Then on the outsides of it, almost like a windshield wiper effect, you'll see snow and freezing rain and sleet encompass the outside of the low pressure, almost trying to make a circle around it. Advancing this forward, this will be midnight on Monday morning. You'll see now we have converted from freezing rain to snow for a lot of folks, and this would be a very efficient snowfall. So let me click on the sounding real quickly just to make sure. Yes, that is correct. So we'll be about 25 degrees at this point. This would be an efficient snowfall. What I mean by that is our snow ratios will be increased. This means that whatever falls will be very efficient in landing, and it can pile up a lot faster. All right. As this low pressure scoots out to the east, it'll stretch upper layers of that atmosphere and cause a deformation band to occur. What is a deformation band? It is an area where we can get slightly enhanced snowfall rates. We're talking about 2 to 3 inches per hour. That's a heavy snowfall. And so with that being said, you can even get, perhaps a situation where you have a layer of a half-inch of ice, and on top of that, you have a layer of 2 to 3 inches of very quick snowfall that fell. So it gets very, very, very messy, very fast. And you'll see that right here. You kind of see these little streaks of darker blue. Those are your deformation bands that are trying to be picked up by the model data. Those could end up in southern Indiana. They could end up in central Kentucky. So where those set up, it's pretty unpredictable, but the odds are there for a deformation band to occur as it's on its way out. By the way, real quickly, thank you guys again for all the likes, the shares, the stars that you guys are sending. Thank you guys a lot for all of your support. We appreciate you. Pushing this on forward here, you'll see very heavy snowfall ongoing. This is now Monday morning. We are now approaching the 24-hour mark. So this system will be a long duration system. We're not talking about a 3 to 4 hour hitter and then it's gone, or a one night stand and it's gone. We're talking about a 24 to 36 hour long storm system here. So now advancing this on forward, this is valid for Monday afternoon. The snow is now pulling away to the eastern portions of the state and now exiting the area by Monday evening around 4 p.m. or so. So we have from 7 a.m. on Sunday to about 4 p.m. on Monday. This is what does that make it? A 30-hour storm system at that point? A very long storm system. That is one model. Let me show you this other model, because again, it's important to have that context. A pretty similar idea. This one has a little bit more warm air involved with it, which is not abnormal for this model. This is called the GFS model right here. We know that this model has a bias toward warm air. Basically, what I mean by that is it'll try to make the environment more warm than what will actually happen. So we know that this might be a little bit too warm, and it's that some of the rain or plain rain that it's showing might end up being freezing rain. So keep that in mind. Oh, before I do that, I meant to show you the totals from this model here. So just to kind of give you some nameplates here, I'll zoom into the local view. Now again, when I show you these totals, the reason I'm doing this is because it's going to float around social media anyway, so I want to show you it here with me. Keep in mind, this storm, once again, I want to remind everyone, has not made it on land yet. And when it does make it on land, some things could be more aggressive, some things may be less aggressive. shifting occurs, any movement of that low pressure by 50 miles makes a massive difference. So if that low pressure is a little bit more north, it means a little bit more rain or freezing rain for us. If the low pressure is a little bit more south into Tennessee, it means big time snowfall for us. All right. So any little movement of that low pressure is going to greatly, drastically change things. So I want to kind of show you the totals for now, with you keeping in mind that this may change. All right. Advanced snowfall 4. This is valid for just after the event ends. Shows a wide swath of about 2 to 6 inches of snowfall, basically from the parkways to the points north, and then from Louisville, Lexington to points north toward Cincinnati, about 6 to 10 inches of snowfall. If you're south of the parkways, perhaps a dusting is possible, but mainly your main mode of precipitation, pretty much no matter how this shifts, is going to be rain and freezing rain and a little bit of sleet. So that's your snowfall totals for this one model. This is not our forecast. Say it again. This is not our forecast. So if this doesn't happen by Sunday, please don't come to me and yell at me that I got it wrong. This is not our forecast. This is one model. But this is going to float around the internet anyway, and I kind of just want to make sure that I explain it in context. Here is unfortunately your total ice or freezing rain total. So if you were in the broadcast a couple days ago, I told you that I would tell you if it was time for you to prepare your homes, because a lot of you were freaking out. And rightfully so. A lot of you are thinking of 2009, and rightfully so. And I want to tell you that I do think it is time, if you are from the parkways to points north, and I'll draw out a spot for you. If you are from the parkways to points north, basically, you'll see it along here. All right. I do think it's time if you are this area to the north. All right. This big orange circle. And I do think it's time for you to prepare. Okay, and prepare like you may be stuck in your homes for 72 to 96 hours. So from Sunday to Wednesday. All right, I told you guys I would tell you if it was time, and I do think, given off all the data that I've seen, again tomorrow night this could change a little bit. This could change a little bit as we get real data sampled from the storm as it comes on land tomorrow night. But I want to kind of go ahead and give you a heads up before you're out of time. All right, this for me, for example, we did a big Walmart order today. Okay. I told Brian, I told my wife to prepare like we would be stuck in the house until Wednesday. All right, because the one thing that we know for sure is going to happen, all right, is the level of cold air that we see after the storm. We're talking about temperatures below zero for many folks. We're talking about temperatures in the single digits for all of Kentucky, pretty much. So whatever is on the ground, right, no matter what it fell as, whatever is on the ground below about 23 degrees, it's going to flash freeze. All right, and almost everyone in the state, no matter what you see, at some point on Monday night to Tuesday morning, you will drop below 23 degrees. Well below 23 degrees. And I don't see a spot that we go above freezing until at least Thursday. So I would prepare for the kiddos to be out of school, especially if you're in that orange zone. I would prepare for you not maybe to work from home. All right. I won't say this is 2009, because if you were here 2009, instead of it being 4 to 5 days, it was 4 to 5 weeks for many folks. All right. So we have to remember that 2009 was a complete historical anomaly. That was an inch plus of ice for many folks. It was weeks and weeks and weeks of below teens weather. I mean, it was a complete anomalous event. So I almost in my lifetime will never compare anything to 2009, because 2009 was so special for all the wrong reasons, right? But you can kind of get a taste of it from the system. We will see about a half inch. Let me go ahead and go back to my mouse now. We will see about a half inch of, let me erase that, of ice. I do think a big ice storm is at play for many folks in Kentucky, unfortunately. Just the amount of precipitation that we see, the amount of cold air that we see, right? Someone between Nashville, Tennessee to Bloomington, Indiana, so everyone in between, you're going to see an incredible amount of ice. And this is not clickbait. This is not hype. You know, we had a meeting with Hardin County Emergency Management this morning. Thank you to Joey for having us out there and letting us prep them. And I told them we have been tracking the storm since December the 3rd. All right. Now, we have not posted about it or talked about it until over the last 3 or 4 days. But Mike, Neil, Cherie, everyone else, and I on our team, we've been tracking the storm for over 28 days. All right. And on those 28 days, this has been remarkably consistent. We have had some days where it's lost it and came back, but it has been remarkably consistent with putting an ice storm down somewhere between Nashville and Bloomington, Indiana. All right. And unfortunately, as we're getting closer to this event, it's starting to narrow down around that I-64 corridor, and then just south and just north. All right. Now, again, when this gets sampled tomorrow night, when the storm actually makes it on land, this absolutely could shift out of our area, more into our area, bigger, smaller. It could absolutely do a lot of things. And my hope is that we either get all snow or all rain. Anything above about 1/10 of an inch of ice is incredibly, incredibly impactful. Anything above 1/4 inch of ice is incredibly, incredibly hazardous, because ice is very, very, very heavy. It sits on those tree limbs or breaks those tree limbs. It sits on power lines. If the winds come through and they're higher than 20 mile per hour, say goodbye to your power lines. It's very, very, very impactful. It's very, very, very heavy. So my hope right now is that when this gets on the land tomorrow, we can come on air tomorrow night and tell you that this has shifted. All right. I'm as big of a winter lover as you will see. I have absolutely zero desire to see any sort of ice at all. All right. I want to make that very, very, very clear, because some people are going to read this and not know any better and think, oh my goodness, 0.6 inches of ice, that's nothing. I want to remind you that in 2009, all it took was 0.75 inches of ice, right? And the ice storm warning criteria is only 0.25, right? And we have multiple cities on this model that's showing well over 0.5 inches, all right? So I just want to add the context. Don't want to scare you. I would just say, hey, before everyone freaks out, runs to Walmart, grabs everything, go ahead and get your supplies as well. It's always way better to prepare for the worst and then get caught, rather than get caught at the last minute and there's nothing on the shelves. I mean, we've seen that several times. Weatherwise, okay. Mods, I'll go ahead and do it. Weatherwise.app. And I'm going to put a video out probably at some point to kind of show you guys how to use that as well. But again, I don't want to scare anyone, but it's my job to prepare you for what reality might look like. My job isn't to tell the weather what to do. My job is to communicate what the weather is doing. That's a very different thing. Two very different things. And my job right now is to tell you that if you are in that area that we circled, I'll circle it again. Basically this area, and you can even probably throw in Bowling Green in there too, but we're not there just yet. If you are in this area, I would absolutely prepare to, unfortunately, be stuck in your houses from Sunday through Wednesday. All right. And that's just the harsh reality. Your Toyota Corolla is not going to go out there on the ice. All right. Because, for example, whenever ice does fall and ice does create that thin layer of ice on the roads, our road crews in their big old 4x4s, they stop plowing at that point because their 4x4s can't make it on the ice. All right. Your big old fancy trucks for my guys in here, those are not going to make it on the ice. Right. No one gets any traction on any ice. All right. I want to make that very, very clear, because how many times do I have to see when I pull up the traffic cameras, the amount of people on I-65 and Joe Braither Highway that are trying to take their big old trucks out there and all they're doing is spinning out. So, I mean, let's be mindful. And also just a real quick note today. I got to go on a tour of the Hardin County, like I said, the Hardin County Emergency Management Services, and they showed me everything that they do and how many moving parts that they have going on. When you take your Toyota Corolla out there and you're just running to the gas station to get a candy bar, if you don't absolutely have to be on the roadways, do not be on the roadways. That doesn't mean, oh, I can go to McDonald's real quick and grab a cheeseburger, right? I've done it before too, okay? But what happens when you do that is, you're taking that chance and maybe you accidentally do spin out, you hurt yourself or somebody else, and now someone that actually needed the care can't get it because they're having to tend to you, right? That's the things that we don't think of as human beings. We don't think that we think that we're the only people in the world. We're not. We're not. So that's my message to you tonight, is to be mindful of all of our folks that are out there making sacrifices to get us from point A to point B, and try to be a little bit selfless and just stay home, make a cup of hot chocolate. We'll be live on Facebook and YouTube all day. We'll give you something to watch. All right. We'll give you all the entertainment that you possibly can get. 1 second, babe. And then we'll go on from there. So again, my message is to just prepare like you're going to be stuck in your homes if you're in that orange circle for 72 hours or so. Buy a lot of groceries, get you some heaters. I do think we'll see quite a few power outages. Hopefully, our crews can get out there, and our amazing line women and men can get out there to fix those, and so on and so forth. But again, they can only do that if we're staying out of their way. The general public is staying out of their way. So I'm going to do my part with Stafford Roads. Hopefully, you guys do that as well, and go on from there. So I'll get to some of your questions now. Getting into specific areas, probably not going to do that at this point. I promise you, I will have a broadcast where we do go over every single person's backyard. Probably do that Saturday at some point. We might have multiple broadcasts on Saturday, but I want to wait to get into specific areas until we get that data from the storm making it on land. All right. Some people are asking for the time frame. Some time frame right now seems to be Sunday at 7 a.m. to about Monday at 4 p.m. That seems to be the general time frame for everybody. I want to say thank you again to everybody that has shared and liked the broadcast. And I want to say thank you to our great sponsors, Right Implement, Weatherwise.app, FBI Buildings, and Digital Solutions. I know we didn't run any ads on this broadcast. I hope they understand that this was a broadcast where we needed to be very emergent about things. They'll get their spotlight. But again, major thank you to our sponsors. We cannot do this without their support. Really. So again, if you are considering supporting any of our sponsors, we would appreciate that. Because they are the reason we can do what we can do. So Right Implement, phenomenal store. They have over 15 locations. Weatherwise.app, a brand new radar that we only use. We exclusively use Weatherwise, not any other radar. It is phenomenal. One of the best radars I've ever seen in my life. FBI Buildings, they have been around since 1958, doing renovations and new builds to commercial, residential buildings, as well as pole barns. FBIbuildings.com for those folks. Digital Solutions out of Radcliffe, Kentucky. Phenomenal people are coming in the clutch and fixing a lot of electronics and purchasing electronics. Thank you to Kayla and her company out there, Digital Solutions. Make sure you shop with them. So thank you again for our sponsors and everybody that's supporting our page with the stars, the likes and shares. Robertia, thank you for your 50 stars. I appreciate you. I'm trying to get some of your stars now. I know I missed a lot of them. Tammy with 20 stars, thank you. Ashley with 300 stars, thank you very much. Josh with 20. Josh with another 20. Katie with 500 stars, thank you so much. Tracy with your 100 star donation, thank you. Lucy with 20. Rose with 20. Ashley with 125. Ashley with 20. Katie with 99 stars. Hunter with 99 stars says, keep it up, George, my favorite meteorologist. I want to make it clear I'm not a meteorologist, but I appreciate that. I am a forecaster. By the way, I will never strive. I had the question today. Someone asked me if I would ever want to be certified or strive for it. I have no desire to do that. It is a money scam. So, just make that clear. I always like to make that clear. I was over 3 weeks without power in 2009. I don't think we see that because we do have brief periods where we do go above freezing by midweek. Again, like I talked with the crews today, as long as we're efficient about taking advantage of those 2 to 3 hour windows we may get where we're going to go above freezing, all should be okay. Jaden, thank you very much. How set in stone is your forecast? Andrea, I haven't really made a forecast yet. We kind of just looked at model data tonight, different scenarios. I probably won't put out a forecast until very late tomorrow night. Again, that's when the storm actually makes landfall. Yeah, so Emma, by the way, congratulations. Secondly, it might be a bit hazardous. I mean, I would see if there's maybe any way you can get there a little bit sooner. Maybe before everything starts. Maybe before sunset on Sunday. Again, it's just going to be really, really tough travel. Really, really tough travel. William, thank you so much. I appreciate your kindness. Oh my goodness, I completely forgot about our YouTube chat. YouTube, I am so sorry. Oh my goodness, I am so sorry. I am so sorry. I completely forgot about our YouTube chat. Oh, see, you can tell it's been a while since I've done this. You can tell it's been a while since I've done a YouTube broadcast. Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. I had my broadcast software browser right up over the YouTube chat and completely forgot YouTube existed there for a second. So for all of our friends that are watching on YouTube, I am so sorry for completely missing all of your comments. Let me get some YouTube comments real quickly. Half an inch of ice or so is dangerous. Yes, and it absolutely is. Let's see here. Going to be hard to get an Uber. Yeah, it will. People don't want to be on the roadways. Do you think school can be off Tuesday, Joshua? I do think. I mean, if I won't go into detail about what we talked about today with some school folks, But especially if you are, like I said, in that orange circle north of the parkways toward the Kentucky Indiana border, I probably expect your kiddo to be out of school at least 4 additional days. It's going to be very hard to see a scenario where people are able to send kids to school, especially if you're, I mean, a lot of people in Kentucky live in rural counties, and a lot of those rural counties have big hills, big valleys, um, and it can be very hard to get those roads cleared off in time. And in my opinion, those first 48 hours, you're going to have road crews having to spend so much time specifically on the primary and main roads that they're not going to be able to get to the secondary and tertiary roads. So it's going to it's hard for me to see a world where we get ice. Let's say we get a quarter inch to a half inch of ice on the ground and some snow. It's really hard for me to see a world where kids make it back to school this week. Just being honest with you, Hunter. Keep it up in the best weatherman out there. Hunter, I appreciate your 100 stars. Thank you so much. You guys have been very generous tonight. Thank you very much for that. Yeah, and Ashton, and my point today was there's so many districts out there that have virtual learning. This would be a time to maybe take advantage of that, right? Again, and buses have such terrible traction controls too. Any little thing that gets on the ground, you guys got to remember we're in Kentucky, you know. We're not in Minneapolis, Minnesota. We're not in Michigan. We don't have buses with snow chains and crazy tread on the tires, right? And different traction control mechanics. We don't have that here. So anytime we do get a half inch of ice or a lot of snowfall, our equipment, our schools, buses, and everything like that, we're not built for that. So anytime we do get something like this, it pretty much shuts down the state for at least 48 to 72 hours. Yeah, Trey. You know, school systems for the most part over the last 2 to 3 years in Kentucky have gotten very lucky with not having very much to do in the winter, with not having to worry about too much. So, are you a little bit more lenient this time? Again, and also a new point is the liability is so much higher nowadays. I mean, back when I was in school, and then of course back when a lot of other folks were in school, even beyond me, a long time ago, it was different. Now there's phones everywhere. There's so much more liability. There's lawsuits left and right, right? And you have all the virtual learning stuff. So, I mean, do you send the kids to school at that point? I think probably not, right? So, do you see warnings coming out for Bowling Green, Kentucky, Tennessee border? I mean, again, so this is not set in stone. So tomorrow night, this could shift as we get that real data to come in, and if it does shift, absolutely. As of right now, from what I'm seeing, I think where they currently have the watches at is probably where you're going to see them. All right, with the exception of Eastern Kentucky, they have not put any watches out there yet, which I'm not really sure what NWS Jackson is waiting on. Maybe they're waiting on a special Christmas card that never came. There absolutely needs to be watches out there as well. Uh, but I don't think at this current time it'll stretch any more to the south. Now, for Bowling Green, places like Bowling Green, Paducah, Columbia, Glasgow, that border where the current watch is, you could absolutely end up with a winter weather advisory because you will see a little bit of something. Everyone in Kentucky will see a little bit of frozen precip at some point. I want to make that clear. It's just the further south you go, the closer to that low pressure you are, and at some point the warm air is going to win out, and you're going to see just plain rain. So that's why you don't see yourself included in a winter storm watch at this point. Anita, I appreciate that. Thank you so much. So, and again, real quick note, I don't make school decisions. For some reason, a lot of people think I have pull with that, or I do make those decisions. I don't. Now, there are some school systems that ask me my opinion on things, and I will absolutely give them my opinion on things in my analysis. But I don't make school decisions. So, I've had a lot of people like message me during events like this, and I'm like, I'm not as powerful as you think I am. Yeah, so Ronnie, it depends on how cold it is outside, right? So if you're at 32 degrees, you have a snow ratio of 10 to 1. Basically, that means for every 10 inches of snow, you have 1 inch of liquid, or every 1 inch of liquid, you have 10 inches of snow. The colder you get, especially above the atmosphere, right? Let's say you're down to 15 degrees. Well, now you're probably approaching a 30 to 1 ratio, right? Where every 1 inch of liquid converts to 30 inches of snow. So the colder you are, the more efficient the snowfall is going to be. Yeah, so Logan, real quickly, there are winter storm watches out. So the winter storm watches is dark blue. Special weather statements also exist for this teal area. That is for the potential for a few slick spots tonight, going into the overnight hours into Friday morning. By the way, I don't see much with this. I wouldn't have put out a statement myself, but there could be certainly be a few slick spots tomorrow morning, especially if you're east of I-75, like let's say Beattyville, Jackson, Manchester, Hinman, Pikeville, Corbin, Somerset, up there to Owenston, Independence, Kentucky. Um, these are the special weather statements from that. This color of mix that you see in the middle here is where both a special weather statement and a winter storm watch is currently present. So places like E-Town, Hardinsburg, Nicholasville, Lexington, Frankfort, Louisville, Danville, so on and so forth, for the potential for slick spots tonight, and that winter storm watch for Sunday and Monday. But again, tonight, overnight into Friday, I don't expect a whole lot. We could see a few snow showers, but not a whole lot expected. The main show is absolutely on Sunday and Monday. Yeah, Peen, that's a great question. So this one's going to be kind of interesting. Okay, as that low pressure gets closer to us, by the way, for those of you on Facebook that couldn't see their question, they said, "Is there strong winds expected with this system?" So when that low pressure initially gets close to us, we actually will see 30 to 40 mile per hour wind gusts, pretty substantial wind gust, right? Then as the freezing rain starts, we'll see those wind gusts die down quite a bit, 5 to 10 mile per hour. Okay, then once it all ends on Monday morning and Monday afternoon, those wind gusts pick back up. So the problem with that is you almost want the winds to keep going while it's raining, so it can knock the rain off the power lines. It can knock the rain off the tree limbs. When those winds die down like that, the freezing rain can set on those objects and get heavier and heavier and heavier. And then, of course, when it's done, the temperatures drop and the fan of winds turn back on, and it can knock over some of those tree limbs, knock over some of those power lines. So that's the problem. So that's why we do expect a wide number of power outages. We do expect a wide number of tree damage. We do expect a wide number of impacts to travel. So that's why we're telling folks, hey, if you can work from home Monday, work from home on Monday. If you can, a lot of churches have stuff online. So if you can stay home from church on Sunday and watch it online, do that. Do not be on the roadways unless you have a leg falling off of you or a head like bleeding. I don't know. You get my point. Don't go grab a cheeseburger. Make a pack of ramen noodles at home. All right. Stay off the roadway for me, please. Stay out of these people's way so I can get to people that actually need emergencies and can get to repairing things that may need to be repaired. Hunter, that would absolutely be the case. So we will go above freezing at some point on Sunday, but we will rapidly drop below freezing once again. And once you drop below 25 degrees, which everyone in the state will drop below 25 degrees at some point Monday morning and again on Monday night to Tuesday morning. Once that happens, you have a flash freeze to occur. So no matter what fell, no matter how it fell, no matter when it fell, if there's something on the ground that is wet, when you go below 25 degrees, it will immediately freeze no matter what the temperature is below the ground, no matter what fell or how it fell. If it's anything is on the ground and it is wet at 25 degrees, it will flash freeze. Yeah, that's not going to be a thing, Charles. We're talking about more of an ice situation. Now, could it shift and maybe give us 13 to 15 inches of snow? Sure, but as of this current point and probably the future, I don't see 13 to 15 inches of snow. No. Okay, I think we've gotten to a lot of your questions at this point. I'm not going to get into how much snow specifically for different places. Once again, this storm has not made landfall yet. So once this storm makes landfall tomorrow, we will start putting out more specific forecasts. We will start telling you how much snow to expect. We will start telling you how much ice to expect. But until this makes landfall, everything beforehand is complete speculation. So I want to make sure we let this thing get on land first. Let's test it. Let's sample it. And then I promise you we'll crunch the numbers back here. We'll make those fancy maps for you guys. And we'll get things rolling with you. As for odds of things closing on Monday, I would probably say they're pretty high depending upon where you're at. 1 second, I got a surprise for those of you people that have been patient. My screen's gonna be black for a second. Hang on. All right, hang on. Pull this over here real quick. Hi. Say hi, everybody.
Say I'm going to bed soon.
Well, you quit. Stop kicking the desk. Brandy, you're welcome, of course. Here, you can play with it for a second. You say hi to everybody? You want to say hi to everybody? Say hi to everybody? Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys. All right, hang on. You want to stand up? You stand? Stop looking at the microphone. Look at the camera. I got to teach you how to do this, huh?
Stop looking.
Look over here. Why are you kicking? Whoa, 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 whoa. Stop kicking the desk. Stop kicking the desk. All right. You go to bed, little boy. Say bye, everybody. That's okay. Bye, guys. I love you guys too. Sorry, I got to wipe off the drool off my hand. I know Carly's been taking my job here in a little bit. How old is he? He is 7 months. Just said 7 months back on the 27th of December. Yeah, Ivy, isn't that crazy? A lot of people say that. A lot of people say that. Yeah, well, Bree was trying to come in here earlier, but that's when I was trying to have my serious moment with you guys about staying off the road. So I had to kick her out for a second. But yeah, so that's Samuel. That's the forecast right now. Again, when the storm actually gets on land tomorrow, we'll make some more analysis and actual real specific forecast for you to expect. Of course, until then, follow our pages on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, turn on notifications. Look out for those updates. Until then, everyone stay safe. Everyone stay away from the clickbait post on Facebook, Twitter, and everything else. Stay away from them. You guys know what to expect at this point. And I appreciate you guys so much. I'm George Herbig, Chief Forecaster here with W&K. For Samuel, Bree, and I, stay safe, Kentucky.